if you've been trying to lose weight or get rid of belly fat, but you're sick and tired of trainers telling you that you gotta give up all your favorite foods and you gotta give up drinking alcohol, in this video, I'm gonna show you why eating your favorite foods while losing weight is actually a good thing. And I'm also gonna show you how me and my clients are getting it done and how you can do it too. Now, if you find the video helpful, be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Let's get to the action. Number one, I'm about to take y'all back down memory lane because I think a lot of people don't realize I'm a real person. You know, even though I'm shooting these YouTube videos, I'm still human, you know, half human. And so, you know, back in the days when I was trying to get more lean and ripped and cut, I was never overweight, but I wanted my abs to be more defined and chiseled. And so I found myself doing the high protein diet, giving up all my carbs. You know, I tried the vegan diet, not eating any meat. I cut out all my sugar. I didn't eat any of the foods that I like eating. I stopped eating my pancakes. I stopped eating my burgers. I stopped eating tacos. And I found myself, getting some results. But after so long, I started noticing that, you know, my cabinets and my refrigerator would be calling my name. I'd hear this little voice coming from the kitchen. And I'm like, what is that noise? And they're like, Jay, come eat me. Jay, come eat me. I'm like, what in the world is that? You know, and I get a little bit closer to the kitchen. Jay, come eat me. Jay, come eat me. I open up the cabinet, it's the damn Oreos calling my name. I look over the refrigerator, it's the cereal calling my name. Because I'm so hungry and I feel so deprived, I felt so deprived, I started binge eating on, you know, the Oreos and milk. Yo, I would eat an entire row or two of Oreos and milk because I felt so deprived. I'll eat an entire box of cereal because I feel so deprived. And you know, we only have so much willpower, guys. I'm just being authentic and real with you right now. And there's a lot of trainers out there who go through the same thing because we only have so much willpower. And so one of the biggest things is you gotta be able to enjoy the process. You gotta have some discipline too, but at the same time, your boy ain't about to be eating chicken and broccoli for the rest of his life and not eating any good food. That's just not gonna happen. That's out the question. And so after going through so many binge eating sessions of, you know, doing different diets and, you know, falling off, binge eating, I found myself just thinking, man, it's just not realistic for me to, you know, give up all the foods that I enjoy eating because I'm always crashing and burning. I'm going right back to the cereal. I'm going right back to honey buns. I'm going right back, you know, to eating the Oreos. And man, I would binge on it like crazy and I feel bad about it. And I know that happens to people. And so the way we solve that issue is pretty much still being able to eat, you know, our favorite foods or our favorite beverages, you know, if you drink alcohol or wine, you know, but instead of, you know, just drinking it and eating it all day, every day, we gotta be able to reduce it and cut back, you know, maybe to once or twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, just depending on how fast you wanna see results. Because I see it all the time. What happens to most people when they wanna lose weight, they give up all their favorite foods. They give up drinking alcohol. They give up, you know, eating sweets or the pastries or whatever your thing is. And once they get to that result that they want, they start back eating it. And so I don't think people realize when you stop doing what got you to one place, you're gonna lose those results. You're gonna go back to the results that you used to have because you're gonna start doing the old things you used to do. Number 2, our mental health, guys. Believe it or not, dieting and working out, they're both stressful. It's a reason why, you know, most people have a hard time dropping weight. You know, we have all these other responsibilities, like taking care of our family, you know, building a business. Maybe you have a very demanding career and that's already stress. And then you throw it on, you know, being in a deficit, doing a diet, eating less, that's more stress. And now we're talking about lifting weights while we're doing a diet, that's even more stress. Now I'm not trying to paint the picture of, you know, these things working against you, you know, but at the same time, just be aware that the more stress we have in our lives is a reason why, you know, men tend to, you know, pass away a little bit earlier than women. You know, men tend to have a lot more stress in our lives because we're trying to achieve more. We're trying to do a whole lot. We're trying to provide for our families. And it's not to say that women don't go through stress, but stress kills. It's a reason, that's a saying. And so instead of doing these extreme diets where you give up all your favorite foods, starving yourself, cutting back on carbs, which is even more stress because if you cut out carbs altogether, you're basically cutting out an entire food group, an entire energy source, you know, and carbs is actually one of the primary energy sources that we use when we're lifting weights. And so we need it. I remember back when I cut out carbs, when I did the whole 0 carb diet, and I found myself, you know, around like day 2 or 3, I went to the gym and I just felt depleted. I felt like I just didn't have any energy at all. And I'm like, man, what in the world is going on? You know, and it wasn't until I started back throwing carbs into my diet. And I'm like, man, I didn't know that carbs made that much of a difference. And that's one of the biggest reasons I tell guys, don't cut out an entire food group, because these things are essential. And when we don't have our proteins, carbs, and fats in our diet, we tend to get deficient with certain essential vitamins and minerals in our diet. And being tired and stressed, those are emotions, guys. And when you think about mental health, you don't want to feel tired and stressed all the time from not being able to eat a certain amount of food or a certain type of food. And you see, what happens is when we deprive ourselves of certain food groups like carbs, proteins, and fats, or even if we're, you know, isolating ourselves from our family and friends because, you know, we have to do this super restrictive diet and we gotta eat salad, we gotta eat chicken and broccoli, and we can't eat the good food that they're eating. That's not good on our mental health because, you know, we don't really truly feel like we're enjoying ourselves. We start to feel like an outsider, and people tend to start, you know, not necessarily want to invite us out places because they're like, well, you know, they're really not going to want to eat the type of food we're eating, or they're not really going to want to drink when we're drinking because, you know, they're trying to do this super crazy diet where they can only eat chicken and broccoli and they can only drink water. Now, if you're a bodybuilder, I get it because you're working towards a purpose. You want to step on stage and be super shredded. But if you're just an everyday individual, you want to look good in your clothes, and when you take your clothes off, you want to be healthy, you don't have to do these crazy diets where you give up your favorite foods. And to be honest, you can have a six-pack and still eat your favorite foods. I'm proof. I'm a living example that you can do this without, you know, starving yourself or killing yourself or even just depriving yourself of eating good food. And so if you want to keep your stress levels low and you want to keep your mental sanity, you don't have to give up your favorite foods to be able to drop weight. And number 3, believe it or not, you can eat good food and still be able to drop weight and keep the results once you get the results. And that's why I talk a lot about the whole 80-20 rule, because 80% of the time, yeah, we gotta be disciplined. We gotta cut back on the processed foods. We gotta cut back on the sugar, and we gotta be disciplined with the things that are actually gonna drive the results, right? Like making sure we're not going over on our calories, making sure that we're eating a certain amount of protein on a daily basis, drinking a solid amount of water, you know, a gallon of water a day. And then the other 20%, we can eat whatever the hell we want to eat. Pancakes, burgers, tacos, pizza, it doesn't matter what it is. And here's the big kicker. Even on the days when we eat whatever we want, we still have boundaries. A lot of times what happens is people take, you know, off days off of their diet where they just eat whatever they want, however much they want. See, even myself, I'll eat whatever I want, but I'm not gonna stuff myself and binge eat anymore. I still have certain boundaries on how much I'm gonna eat. And so let me give you an example. So throughout the week, I may eat, you know, 3 or maybe even 4 big meals throughout the day. And sometimes it's just 3 and I'll drink like a protein shake or 2. But then during the weekends, I tend to eat more. I tend to eat like a pizza or a burger or some tacos, whatever it might be. And on those days, instead of eating 3 or 4 meals, I'm only eating 2 meals because, you know, when we tend to eat burgers and pizza and stuff like that, it tends to have more calories. And so instead of eating 3 or 4 meals, I'll reduce it back to 2. And by reducing it back to 2, I'm able to stay within a certain calorie amount. And so that way I'm not gaining weight or losing the results that I worked so hard to get in the first place. And so one of the biggest takeaways is just understanding how much you need to eat over the course of a day to drop body fat, you know, and then you have days where you may just go up to maintenance level. This is where I talk about, like, you know, your BMR and your total daily energy expenditure. Like basically it's a certain amount of calories that you need to consume to be able to just sustain your current weight. And then you have a certain amount of calories that you eat to actually drop your weight, okay? And on the days, like during the weekends, it's kind of like carb cycling, guys. During the weekend, I'll bump up my calories up to maintenance level instead of keeping it in a severe deficit. And so let's say, for example, throughout the week, I'm only eating 1,800 calories. But then on the weekends, I'll bump it up to like 2,000 or 2,100 calories up to maintenance. And so that way I'm still able to drop body fat. And that's just an example, guys. That's what you can do to be able to drop body fat and still eat the foods that you enjoy, and even give yourself a little bit of cushion and grace to be able to eat more during the weekend without sabotaging your results. And then I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't hear a lot of trainers talk about this, but genetics matters. You're gonna have some people who can tend to, eat a little bit more food and, eat, their favorite foods a little bit more frequently throughout the week than other people. I may be able to do more of an 80-20 type of diet, but somebody that doesn't have as good of genetics as me, they may have to do a 90-10 type diet if they wanna get faster results, or if they just, they feel like they just don't have as much leeway to do that based on their genetics. Like some people, they can just look at some bread, not literally, but they can look at bread or they can look at a donut and start gaining weight, but then you have other people, man, they can smash, a whole box of donuts, or they can smash a whole medium pizza by themselves, wake up the next day and still have abs. And so genetics does matter. You just gotta be self-aware enough to know if you have that type of grace and leeway. Like I know when I was, in my teenage years, I could eat almost anything and not gain a pound or not see any type of a difference, in my body when I would wake up the next day. But nowadays, your boy 32 years old, I can't eat like that all the time. And quite honestly, eating bullshit all the time, it might not affect my body as much anymore, like the way I look, but it does still affect my energy. And guys, I want to be healthy. I want to be able to live for a long time. And there's not a whole lot of studies that show that exercise is going to prolong our lives. More so, what helps us prolong our life is the way we eat. There's plenty of pro athletes out here. Athletes train more than anybody on earth. They train for a living. They have to exercise for a living, but there's no studies that show that, these professional athletes from the past or even today are living longer, And so what we need to be focused on is, effective eating, understanding the right way to eat and nurture our body. And so that way, we able to manage our stress, manage our energy levels, and manage our weight. And so that way, as we're dropping weight, we're able to live longer because, that excess weight, that's more stress on our bodies. Just imagine having, a 50-pound book bag on your back, walking around everywhere you go, and then you take that 50-pound book bag off your back. You're gonna feel a relief. You're gonna feel like a whole new person because that's 50 pounds that you don't have to carry anymore. Weight is stress. And so these are reasons why you want to nail down and start to understand your nutrition, because it's just something I believe everybody should know, both men and women. On a fundamental level, you don't have to know everything, but you got to be able to understand at least your calories and your protein, and just being aware that you can still eat good food, drop weight, and live a healthy life. All right, champs, with that said, if you found the video helpful, be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. And then also, if you feel like you need some step-by-step guidance on what steps you need to take when you hit the gym, what things you need to do as far as your nutrition, so that way you can dial it in and start dropping body fat quickly. Down in the description, you'll see a link where you can book a game plan Zoom call with me, and so that we can discuss your challenges, your goals, and then just figure out if we'd be a great fit to work together. And if we can, I'm gonna help you get on the fast track to being able to hit your fitness goals. All right, we out of here, champs. Let's get it.